What is up, guys? I'm back for another video, and this one's going to be another lesson off of my Music Theory 101 lessons, or series, you might say. I'm going to be talking a little bit about intervals. I mentioned what they were in last video, but in this one I'm going to be going more in depth on what they are and the groups of intervals that we have, and basically just how to identify them and use them to your favor, because intervals are really what music is about, and everything in music is directly related to intervals, and it's based off intervals. And if you want to make music, you have to know your intervals. So let's talk about the two groups that we have, which are going to be the perfect intervals or the just intervals, and then we have the major intervals. I'm going to divide them into these two groups because this way I think it's easier for you guys to understand and kind of take that information in and use it for your advantage. I'm going to divide them into these two groups. I'm going to put the perfect ones here, and then I'm going to put the major ones here. Of course, this is in relation to the major scale. As I already mentioned in the other video, the major scale is literally the parent of everything that we know in music and everything that we have in music nowadays. Parting from that, we're going to talk about the intervals. So a quick definition of the intervals for those of you that may not know. An interval is basically the distance from one note or one point to the other. So in this case, one note to the other, and that's really what an interval is. It's just the distance from one note to the other. So the way that I'm going to be explaining this here is pretty much with numbers and not going into semitones or how much the distance per se is, because you can figure that out for yourself. I'm going to be using a method that I think is pretty much a little bit easier for everyone to digest and just overall understand and apply for yourself. So let's go into the two groups that I already mentioned. So the perfect intervals are going to be the unison, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave. And then in the major side, we're going to have the second, the third, the sixth, and the seventh. So they have different qualities, and that is why I'm going to divide them into these two groups. The perfect intervals can only be either perfect or augmented or diminished, whereas the major intervals can be augmented, but then if you lower them half a step, you're going to get a minor interval, and then it becomes diminished. But we're not really going to get into the augmented and diminished from this side. We are in fact going to get into the augmented and diminished from this side, which is what I'm going to talk to you guys about now. So if we sharpen a perfect fourth, we're going to get a sharp fourth or an augmented fourth, which we've already seen in other of the videos that I've talked about, and you probably already heard it. It's the sharp fourth. We get the tritone, which you're gonna hopefully hear when I'm gonna try to put the guitar. It's somewhere around here so you guys can see how it would look in the guitar. And that interval is actually an enharmonic to the flat 5, which would be the other one that I would be talking about. They sound the same, but they are not the same theoretically, and playing wise they're not the same. They're used in very different applications, which I'm going to be getting into in other future videos because that's actually a bit more advanced. So now let's go to this side, which would be the major intervals. We have the second, the third, the sixth, and the seventh interval. If we lower these half a step, we're going to get a minor interval. So the way that we're going to identify these and the way that it's going to be easier for you guys to understand this is for you guys to first of all learn the major scale. You're gonna need to learn the major scale, and you're gonna need to know how to build a major scale, which I already mentioned in the other video. If you don't know that yet, you may want to check that one out. I'm gonna link it down in the description. You're gonna want to know how to build your scale so you can actually take advantage of this. I can't stress enough how much it has helped me learn the intervals on the guitar and also know the intervals and what they are. It makes music sound more musical. It makes exercises sound more musical. It makes literally everything sound more musical. And you're really going to be using these for the rest of your life if you're playing music. So if we have the C major scale, and we now know that we have the second, the third, the sixth, and the seventh major intervals, and we have the fourth, the fifth, the unison, and the octave perfect intervals. If we transpose that to the other major scales, we're going to get the same in those distances. So if, for example, we're to see the D major scale, we're going to see it right here. The notes in relation to that scale would also be second, third, sixth, seventh major, and then fourth, fifth, unison, and octave perfect. You're going to want to build the other scales and just compare that and see what's happening between those. If you want to make it a little bit more complicated, you're going to want to look into how much distance there is from one thing to the other. And that's pretty much it. That's kind of an easy way to getting into the intervals and to identifying intervals. I'm going to be playing them on the guitar so you guys can see how they're built on the guitar. I'm not going to put a tablature, but I am going to zoom in on my hands and put the name of the interval that I'm playing so you guys can actually hear it and also identify it for yourself and learn how to play it on the guitar as well. So I'm going to go into that now. C major scale first so you guys can hear what I'm playing. And then octave. If you found this material helpful, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this, and I would really like to have you guys comment what type of lessons you want on this channel. I'm really open to any type of lesson. And that's basically it for this video. I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, and please subscribe down below and comment and like and all of that good stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one.